What's up, beautiful people? It's Pretty Girl Love Trap Content. And yes, I am here to discuss Raising Kanan, okay? Raising Kanan is my favorite spinoff in the Power universe. And I don't want to see it go, okay? Season 4 just concluded and I'm still in my feelings, okay? I'm in my feelings. But a few seasons ago, I asked myself, I said, hey, self. And myself was like, what, girl? And then I was like, hey, what if Raising Kanan was casted and filmed in real time? Meaning it being filmed and casted and airing in the late 80s and early 90s. Who would be casted for this show? This is a good question, okay? So before I get into who I think would be good cast members of this show, please know I adore all of the current actors in Raising Kanan, okay? Patina Miller, Malcolm Mays, London Brown, Haley Kilgore, Kanan himself, okay? Makai Curtis, all right? We even have Wendell Pierce and Tony Danza. Joey Badass, okay? Because he has been a badass on this show, all right? Let it be known, I love everyone. They are doing a phenomenal job, okay? This video is just to give you guys an invitation in my brain, okay? That is all, okay? I don't want these actors to replace them, of course, with age. That's kind of not possible, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up, okay? I do not want anyone to be replaced whatsoever. I just thought this would be a cute little video, all right? Also, please note, I am an 80s baby, okay? And I was born and raised in New York City, okay? Not Jamaica, Queens, Harlem, okay? But that's just a train ride away, okay? Just a quick little train ride away. So just know, this show is my childhood per se, okay? I'm just going to say the per se, okay? No, I did not have a Raquel Thomas in my family, but I do resonate with a lot of these characters. They do definitely remind me of people that have grew up around or have seen in my neighborhood. So just know I know a little something about what I am talking about, okay? All right, you guys, no expert, but just know I have experience in this era as a child, okay? So let me just get this ball rolling, all right? So I'm just going to start with Lulu. Okay, and Lulu is currently being played by Malcolm Mays. Okay, now, if Raising Kanan was filmed in the 90s, okay, late 80s, I would cast Khalil Kain as Lulu. Okay, now, if you're not familiar with Khalil Kain, I'm gonna need you to do your research, okay, because Khalil Kain is notable for his role in the 1992 crime/thriller drama, if you will, movie Juice, okay? He played Raheem, and he also made appearances in the 2000s hit show Girlfriends, Love Jones, The Renaissance Man. Like, he definitely has a real cute resume, okay? But don't let the face fool you, okay? Don't let the face fool you, because Khalil definitely has range, right? But when I think of Lulu and what he possessed as a character, I think of smooth. I think of, someone that's good with their words, someone that's swagged out, okay? And I see those qualities in Khalil Kain, specifically when he plays his role as Raheem in Juice. Raheem, he was cool. He was, he was a smooth little talker, but if he needed to get a little active and get a little aggressive, he would not hesitate, okay? He has an authoritative figure, about himself, right? This will be a good casting, okay? They don't look exactly alike, but they're giving off the same type of, qualities when I think of 1990s, light-skinnedness, okay? A little hint of melanin and all that, okay? But also just the swag, just the the stature of the figure, just all the things, just how they move and, how they operate. And yeah, I think I did a good job with Lulu. Okay. So let's discuss Marvin Thomas, okay, who is currently played by London Brown. Okay. He need to change it, okay, to London V Brown. Okay. THEE Brown. Okay. Because when I talk about and I think about Uncle Marvin, I mean, it's really hard to really come up with words. I'm really coming up with feelings, like how Uncle Marvin makes me feel. Like he's that uncle that makes you want to just, ride around with him, hear about old stories, and, listen to old school music, listening to an 8-track. You know what I'm saying? Like he gives you that old school vibe, but he's also that F-up uncle that make you low-key want to slap him because he's causing all the conflict in the family. You know what I'm saying? So I actually do have an uncle, kind of like Uncle Marvin, now that I think about it. So I think Lawrence Fishburne would have played a great Uncle Marvin, okay? And I'm sorry, if you don't know who Lawrence Fishburne is, you clearly have been living under a rock, okay? Because he's been, playing in so many different roles. I will be here all day. I will be here all day if I list down his resume, okay? But, when I think of Uncle Marvin, I am just going to give you guys the films that Lawrence has been in that gives me the essence of Marvin, okay? So I'm thinking about Boys in the Hood, Deep Cover, What's Love Got to Do with It, The Matrix, John Wick. He's been in Blackish, so, he's far from just a movie actor, okay? He has been on the silver screen as well, right? But Lawrence's performances in the likes of A Deep Cover, and a Boys in the Hood, What's Love Got to Do with It, is evidence enough for me to believe that he would be a great Uncle Marvin, right? For instance, and What's Love Got to Do with It? Even though Ike was complete utter trash, okay? It's just the comedic timing that he had in that movie. It's priceless. It's priceless, okay? In the midst of just, being a forceful mate, i.e. band member, he would be over there holding out the number 5, giving everybody fines, okay? Like just the way he delivered his lines, like he's one of those characters that you should be hating and you probably actually do hate, but you find yourself chuckling at the same time. The way he told, he was all forceful with the cake eating situation with Anna Mae. Like, it wasn't funny, but he did a great job and it may have made some people laugh, okay? Lawrence's ability, like I said, to be likable and an F-up, I mean, I can envision Lawrence Fishburne in hard bottom shoes, the finest of the Stacey Adams, nice silk shirts, slacks with creases, stiffer than an ironing board. Like, I feel like his role in Boys in the Hood as Furious Styles give me that. Like he was very wise and forward thinking and, just now Marvin may not have this quality like that, but he was, in educational and informing the people what's really going on, So, Marvin, I do feel like he has a sense of wisdom being in the streets and probably I would say a street legend, if you will. If Lulu's a street legend, I definitely know Marvin names. His name ring bells out in those Southside Jamaica Queens streets. Okay. So, that is pretty much, why I would choose Lawrence Fishburne. And if you further don't understand, just think of his swag, his demeanor in the 90s. It just gives me Marvin vibes, Can't you see from his portrayal as Ike, just eating the cake after Anna Mae and her friend is over there pissed off? Can't you see him, Lawrence Fishburne eating a bag of chips in the midst of a gunfight? Come on, y'all can see it. I know y'all can see it. Stop playing with me. I mean, just saying, you saw how he was tearing up that cake. All right, I can definitely see Lawrence over there just eating all the snacks. Okay, so yeah, rock with me when it comes to this casting. Okay, if you have suggestions, let us sister know. Now let's go on over to his daughter. Okay, Jukebox, aka Laverne, right? So Laverne, whew, child. Now this was a doozy, right? She's currently being played by Hailey Kilgore. And why do these actors not have all of the things? Like all of the awards and the accolades. Granted, I know they probably understand how good of a job they're doing, but Hollywood is playing in our faces. I'm just saying. I'm putting it out there. They're playing in our faces. They need to give them all the things. But that is okay. I feel like the real fans of Raising Kanan appreciate the work that these actors and thespians are putting into their characters, right? So when I think of a Hailey Kilgore, when I think of a Jukebox / Laverne, I need a character that, or an actress that can display a sense of duality, that can breed some type of innocence, but also can be savage. And I think of Vanessa Williams. Now, I think she may be most popular for most people as playing Keisha from the 1991 film New Jack City, right? She also has played in Soul Food, the TV show that was popular in the early 2000s. She's had roles in Melrose Place and The Cosby Show. Now, just those 4 projects alone expresses and illustrates her range. Like, she goes from murking someone in broad daylight to being a housewife, to being a college student, and just a woman living in Beverly Hills. Like, I'm just saying, like, Vanessa Williams, I feel like she would definitely be a great Jukebox, especially at that time. Of course, everyone's familiar with her savagery, but I first saw her on The Cosby Show acting, and I can see that innocence, per se, in her as an actress. And that's where I'm coming from in terms of this casting decision. Now, I also did think of Regina King, throwing her possibly in the mix for a Jukebox, because Regina King, of course, her resume is long as I don't know what, right? But I think of her going from a 227 as Brenda, and then playing, I can't recall her character's name at this time, I apologize, in Boys in the Hood. Even Poetic Justice. That transition is wild. It's crazy. So I don't know. I think they both can actually do a good Jukebox. But I'm going to lean more towards Vanessa Williams for this. But let me know what you guys think. Okay, I'm definitely interested in your thoughts. Kanan, okay? Even though the character gets on my ever-loving nerves. I'm trying not to get triggered as I am recording this, you guys. So Kanan is being played by Mekhi Curtis. And you guys, Mekhi is doing a hell of a job, okay? He is doing a hell of a job making me hate Kanan even more than I did in OG Power. Let me just say that, right? But when I think of 90s, when I think of young actor, I think of Shawn Nelson. Now, Shawn Nelson, he's played in Fresh, which is a wonderful, underrated movie. He's played in The Wood, in The Corner. He actually was a character in Power Book 2 Ghost. He played Kai. He was kind of opposite of Monet. He was very thirsty for her, might I add, okay? But this is the grown version of him. He was a child in the 80s and the 90s, right? He was a young actor. But when I think of Shawn Nelson, I can most definitely just see him playing Kanan. Because he can portray smart. He can portray someone to get on your damn nerves. He can frustrate you. He can also be likable. You know, he also portray a know-it-all that gets on your darn nerves, you know. He's had roles where he displayed his, you know, street hustler, you know, options, you know, in terms of a character, right? He also has good comedic timing. Like, the movie The Wood is one of my favorite movies. And he played that role of Mike so good. So good. Like, my favorite scenes in The Wood is hilarious. And even though I do feel like Kanan don't be trying to be funny, okay? It's Lil Ebonics in there. He don't be trying to be funny. He still be cracking me up sometimes. Even when he was meeting with Snap and Pops in one of the most, you know, latest episodes of the season, I believe it possibly was episode 9 or 10 of season 4. And he was like, I'm not asking you guys to open up a task force. Like, that was gold to me, right? Because Kanan typically is not thought of as a comedic actor, right? Or a comedic role. But he brings funny, right? And just Shawn Nelson in The Corner, he was a hustler. You know, he went through a lot of tragedy. So I feel like, you know, Shawn at that time would be able to pull out that type of essence, right? In Raising Kanan, right? So let me know if y'all have any other thoughts in regarding to the Kanan character. I think that's a pretty good match, right? Now, let's get to the final, the final casting, right? Because I'm mainly just focusing on the Thomas family, okay? I can go further, but I don't want to be here all day, right? So, Raquel Thomas, who is being played by Patina Miller. I mean, now, keeping it real, I was not familiar with Patina Miller before this role. But gosh darn it, I am going to be following this woman every little step she takes. I will be there every little step she makes. Because she is next up. Now, she already has a resume. But I see her career, if she wants to, okay, I see her career lasting another 50 or so years. Because this woman is a badass, okay? Like, she is just all that in 3 bags of chips, okay? And I'm talking about the big chips, the party size chips, right? So, y'all, I'm not even gonna lie to you. This was easy but hard, right? Because when I started thinking, I immediately thought of someone. But there possibly could be some other options that I am not thinking of. So please chime in the comments. But I immediately thought of Tyra Farrell or Farrell. I'm sorry if I am mispronouncing her last name, but it's spelled Ferrell. Now, she plays Jessie in Poetic Justice, right? That was in 1993. She also plays Doughboy's mom and Ricky's mom in the Boys in the Hood film. That was 1991. She also played opposite of, oh my gosh, Wesley Snipes in the 1992 film, White Men Can't Jump, Jungle Fever, School Days, etc., right? But if you look her up, if you're not familiar with her, aesthetically, you're going to be like, I see it, right? I see it. And I'm not going to lie, y'all, when you see that woman in a fitted skirt or a dress, you was like, oh, hell yeah, I can see it. But not just aesthetically, I really feel like this woman can pull off Raquel, or at least give the essence, because we see that Tyra has had many diverse roles, right? we saw in Poetic Justice, just for one example, that she has the ability to be a boss, you know. She can be a stern mom, as we saw her in Boys in the Hood. Not saying she, you know, was the best mom, okay? She was a loving yet toxic mom, okay, depending on the son she was communicating with. But I really think she could do it. But I am actually open to other suggestions, right? Because I really think I've done a good job letting you guys know my thoughts and inviting you into my brain. But invite me into your brain. What are your thoughts? Who would you cast for these characters? And, you know, there's Famous. There's, you know, other side characters as well that will have been on the show. So if you have any suggestions, drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. But overall, what do you think? Did I do a good job? Let me know. But this was very much fun for me. If you like this content, please feel free to subscribe, okay? Because ain't nothing but power. Nothing but power is all up and through here, okay? I've been reviewing Raising Kanan since season 1. I reviewed all 6 seasons of OG Power. I reviewed all seasons of Power Book 2 and 4, okay? And if you want a little BMF, it's on my channel as well. And then I also have reviewed numerous of other shows and movies. So we have a good time over here. So if you're about having a good time, please subscribe, okay? I would like to thank you guys for clicking on this video if you made it this far. I may do this for other shows. We'll see how I go. But my time is done here, okay? I am clocking out for the day as casting director. Until next time, toodles.